everyone. Welcome to the Veterinary Business Podcast, your ultimate resource for developing a successful veterinary practice and career. I'm Dr. Amanda Landis-Hanna, one of the co-hosts of the Veterinary Business Podcast. On this podcast, we bring you insights and expertise from industry-leading doctors, experts, and thought leaders. We cover a wide range of topics, including practice management, which we'll be discussing today, as well as marketing, finance, leadership, HR, AI, law, and so much more. Whether you're a practicing veterinarian, a practice owner, practice manager, or a student studying to be a veterinarian or veterinary technician, this podcast is tailored to help you navigate the unique challenges and opportunities in the business of veterinary medicine. Every listener of this podcast is welcome to visit www.veterinarybusinessinstitute.com for additional resources and tools to support your growth. You can also subscribe to our podcast on iTunes, YouTube Music, Spotify, and other popular podcast platforms. Today, I'm thrilled to welcome my friend, Joe Chikarollo, a dynamic leader and seasoned sales expert with over 15 years of experience transforming SaaS startups into industry leaders. Currently serving as the Vice President of Sales at both Chikvet and My Dental SOP, Joe is passionate about bringing innovative solutions to the veterinary and dental industries. Joe's expertise in driving growth, building efficient processes, and creating value for clients has made him a trailblazer in his field. Beyond his professional achievements, Joe's dedication to innovation and improving work-life balance for veterinary and dental professionals is truly inspiring. Our topic today is automation, scalability, and efficiency in the veterinary practice. I can't wait to dive into Joe's journey and let you know a little bit more about him, his strategies for success, and also how he's shaping the future of the industries he serves. Let's get this going. Hey, Joe, how's it going?
It goes great. How about you?
Doing really well. Thanks so much for joining me on the podcast today.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me. Love being on a podcast where I can't be seen, so people can't see me wearing pajamas right now and taking selfies of us.
Yes, exactly. If you're not wearing jammies, you aren't doing it right on a podcast, at least. For those who are listening to us at their veterinary practice, at least you're in scrubs, so you're at least kind of comfy, I hope. And hopefully there's not any vomit or anal glands on you. These are the best things that we can hope for. So on that friendly note, let's get going. Joe, can you share a little bit about your backstory with our audience and how you transitioned from dental into veterinary medicine? I know how much I enjoy the story, so let's give our listeners a little heads up.
Sure. So I started in the human dentistry world close to 15 years ago. It wasn't actually my first startup, but I was part of a really cool marketing and website, like a turnkey marketing solution company. I got an offer from somebody who had hired me there, the then VP of sales, to join a really cool platform. It was a SaaS-based platform in the dentistry space that was online booking only. That's all that we did. And at that time, we're going 2016. There was no other online booking solution that was able to function in real time, where it was actually automating the process. All they had, much like a lot of times you see in the vet space now, is appointment request forms on the website, which nobody likes. Creates a ton of extra work, a lot of back and forth. So it was all the same things that you would experience kind of switching over from that in vet now, but it was a brand new concept at the time. We were super successful with it. It was something that helped every single person. Like, it made the patient experience better, the office experience better. It helped with growth and conversion and marketing. So we grew from like 30 paying providers in early 2016 to a little over 9,000 providers by the end of 2019. Fast forward a little bit from there, and we got acquired by a larger company that does all the analytics for a dental practice. Things like what's your forward booking look like, and your scheduling efficiency, and your fill rate, and like opportunities for revenue that maybe you don't know about. People that are very easy to get scheduled again because they're overdue, or that we know that they need treatment, but they haven't actually scheduled that treatment yet. Things like that. So we had the analytics to know who we wanted to contact, and we had the scheduling tool to be able to actually book them. Now we needed the way to get that scheduling tool into the patient's hands. So we bought a third company that did the text communications, emails, recalls, reminders, all that type of stuff. And now we had this really cool ecosystem. That being said, that company is super successful. It's actually the number one most used third-party platform in the dentistry world right now. But I really, really enjoy startup environments. So I went on to help another company for a little bit. And then after we got them to kind of a point of self-sustainability, I get this phone call from a guy who I used to work with who built that original scheduling tool in dentistry back in 2016. And he goes, hey, I hooked up with these guys that are in the veterinary space. They're kind of building the exact same thing we had back then. It's all of it together, but it's all under one roof. And this doesn't exist in the vet space yet. Do you want to come and do that thing that you were really successful with and had a ton of fun with, but do it with animal people? And I was like, yes, I do. Absolutely. I love animal people. So now I'm like I said, helping these guys out with the same type of software and hoping for that kind of same level of success because it's just really fun to do.
Absolutely. It sounds like a ton of fun. You know already that, and our listeners know my background, of course, is also in startups. And I love that kind of high energy, wearing all the hats sort of role, which is definitely not unlike my time in veterinary practices too, where you're just all hands on deck. So for our veterinarians and our practice managers and business owners, why is online booking important for them? You know, how do we get some of those hats off their heads so that they can actually take a breather or get a little bit of relaxation? I know you guys aren't the only players in the space. So, you know, what's kind of driving the need for this technology? What's the return on the investment? What is it that practice managers and hospital owners and regional managers can really use this to help benefit them and also the team members as well?
It's really a win-win-win scenario because the people at the like your clients or potential clients are looking for online booking. They're looking for ease of use. They're looking for the easiest way to get in touch and book an appointment. Like there was a time years ago that when you wanted to book a flight, you had to call the airline and sit on the phone with somebody for 30 to 45 minutes and talk about all the different options for flights and where do you want to sit and how long is it going to be and what times do you have available. I mean, could you even imagine doing that now when you could just go right online to aa.com and just book your flight yourself? Like who would pick that first option, right? Another example I like giving when I'm on stage sometimes, I'll ask like, how many people here have ever bought something online, like on Amazon? And every hand in the room goes up. They go, all right, now picture that same experience. But instead of having like the shopping cart functionality where you can add it to your own cart, put in your billing info and your credit card and hit buy, instead of that, you had to submit a request to buy that item. And you couldn't even, you had to wait until somebody called you back to talk about making that purchase before you were able to actually complete that purchase, right? And by the way, that phone call is not going to come at a convenient time. It's going to be right in the middle of the day while you're at work. It's going to be right during dinner while you're in the, it's like, nobody likes that. And that's what we're doing to these vet clients. Like when you have an appointment request, it's so, okay. So the first part of the question was, why is this important? Well, it helps the clientele easily. It's a much better experience, right? It also helps the front desk because if you automate this, you remove all of that back and forth, the phone tag and the texting and the confirmations and sitting on the phone, all that time. It takes an average of 7.1 minutes, if I remember correctly, to book an appointment over the phone if somebody calls in. If you use online booking, it's an average of like 48 seconds or something like that.
Wow.
And then for the practice owners, typically what they like is the growth aspect, the marketing conversion that's raised by it, the ability to bring in new clientele and have them have a better experience overall. And by having all of this together, you wind up being able to help more pets. So I call it a win-win-win because it's good for the clients, good for the patients. I'm sorry. Well, yeah, good for the patients and also good for the kind of ownership or team. You know what I mean? Yeah,
no, absolutely. That's a great way of looking at it. And obviously, we want more patient visits, right? We want patients to come in more often, especially those cats, or we want the opportunity to see our patients more frequently. So does something like this work not only in a small animal practice, but also, say, a mixed animal or a large animal practice? Or is it only, say, for instance, for a one doctor practice? Can it apply for larger scale hospitals? Tell me a little bit about the logistics.
Online booking can be applicable to every single thing you just mentioned. There are different rules that you have to set up. So, for instance, like small clinic, small one doctor office is going to have less rules than like a large clinic with 10 doctors that see all different species, right? Farm calls are going to be different than brick and mortar. Mobile clinics, a high, what is the word I'm looking for? High rate of vaccination, spay neuter clinics, like those type of clinics, right? High volume is the word. Geez, I couldn't think of the word high volume. High volume spay neuter clinics. All those different, every single type of practice that you could have will benefit from having online booking. The key is just making sure that you set up the rules such that, like, if you have one doctor that takes a lot longer for the same type of appointment as another doctor, that you can set like, hey, when this doctor or this column is booked, you always add in an extra 20 minutes because this guy is really chatty. Whereas this doctor, she's really sharp and always on point, and she's in and out with twice as many, right? So it can vary for the specifics of how you set it up, but 100% helps everybody.
Okay, so you can tailor this option, whether it's with your organization or with a different organization. You can really tailor those options and make it appropriate for your hospital or clinic.
Yeah, exactly. That's 100% right. And again, it's going to be very different depending on what style of clinic you are and the species and all that. But yeah, there's a way to make it work for everybody.
Okay, excellent. So what are some of the challenges that you see for vet hospitals and vet clinics related to booking? It's obviously easy to purchase something online, like you mentioned in your online purchasing analogy. Is it just as easy to book online? How hard is it for veterinary hospitals to adopt this sort of software and technology?
Honestly, the biggest issue that we see is just fear. It's hesitation to do it because people are terrified of the concept of letting go, quote unquote, of the control of their schedule. But the reality is when you use a system that has the customizability that allows you to 100% replicate what you're going to say if somebody answers the phone, then why wouldn't you automate that process and save everybody time? One of the things that I typically will tell somebody like an office manager or a front desk person that is kind of on the more hesitant side, I go, all right, like let's assume that it would work, right? That it's physically capable of doing what I'm describing. If that was the case, would you be okay? Would you want to do it? And the answer is always yes, because luckily they don't have 8 million other things to do all the time, right? Well, this just takes one of those things off your plate. It's just the fear of, can it actually work for me? So I would say that's the biggest challenge that we face because, when you honestly, and it's the same thing that it was in dentistry, exactly the same thing. Once you turn it on, you'll never go back to not having it.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. You mentioned the customer service reps, the receptionists, the hospital managers. What is it? What does the adoption process look like? You said you turn it on and you don't want to go back. Well, what does it take to get you turned on?
Well, that's a loaded question, but I'm going to say for online booking, at least with us, we basically just need to talk to whoever it is at the office who knows the scheduling rules the best. There's usually one person that's kind of the source of truth. Oftentimes it's an office manager. Sometimes it's a lead CSR. Sometimes it's just the person who's the most tech savvy or anal about the processes. There's a million different kind of variables, but basically we talk to whoever knows those scheduling rules the best, and we can replicate all that and just build enough rules. And really all it is, you're tech savvy. You know what an if then statement is. If this, then that. If it's a dog, then book it into this column. If it's a certain age, if it's a certain type of procedure that they're looking for. Vaccination is going to be different than an emergency, is different than a wellness exam, is different than a nail trim. But as long as at least somebody at the practice knows all those rules, that's all it takes. It takes about half an hour to go through all that and kind of build it out.
Okay. So from that point, though, how do you train the team? How do you train the front desk, the back staff? How do you get everybody on board with it?
Okay. So this is the beautiful part. There's no training involved. It's 100% set it and forget it. So like when you use a thorough and fully automated online booking system, you can put the booking capability or functionality onto your website, Google, Facebook, Instagram. You can put it into your medical and vaccine reminders. You can put it in any ads or landing pages and all. That's what I'm talking about. Up like when the conversion goes up from marketing and all that. All of that helps, but basically once you have it live, then nobody has to do anything. Because somebody goes to book an appointment, it's going to create the new client record and attach the appointment to that record in the system, or it's going to find the existing record and just write the appointment in with it. But the whole system, there's no training required. I'll give you a funny anecdote. Back in when we first rolled this out in dentistry back in about 2016, we were just starting to get some traction with it, and we had like a handful of people that were calling in to cancel. And we were like, what do you want to, what are you canceling? Oh, well, because it's not doing it. Like, hey, it's a really cool idea, but we're just not seeing any results from it. And we'd look into the system. Hey, you got 6 new patients this month. Hey, you got 22 new patients this month. And they see it as patients rather than clients. We go, well, I don't see those on my schedule. Start reading off, the names to the client. Like, oh, wait, that was you guys? Oh, And what wound up happening was receptionist A or CSR A thought that CSR B was booking all these appointments, and CSR B thought that CSR A had done it. So we actually started, I know you're laughing, this is 100% serious. So we started adding in an email confirmation that goes to the front desk whenever somebody books, because that's how seamless it was. So when I say there's no training, I mean, like, there's no training.
Nice. You got to love it when you got to put in like a, no, really over here kind of red tape. Like, no, I'm seriously doing this.
Yeah.
Well, that sounds awfully nice. But I am going to ask, right? I've been at hospitals for years, and clients have called in and said, hey, my pet is sick, but I don't want to see Dr. X. Now, obviously, that's never me. Obviously, everybody always wants to see me, but obviously, I don't want to see Dr. X. So is there any way to kind of filter what kind of appointments are being made? Or is there a way for, say, for instance, the clients or the pet parents that are booking the appointments to put in any kind of specifics around it?
100%. Yeah. I mean, you can set up enough rules that like they can have the ability to either choose a provider or take first available. I'll give you an example of like some rule sets. I always use this as an example when I'm kind of doing like a demo for somebody. It's like, hey, maybe you have your rules were like, okay, every new client only is booked between 9 and 1 on Monday to Thursday. And we always want a 2-hour buffer for same day appointments. We also leave a certain number open for same day emergencies. And we've got 3 different doctors who all handle the exact same type of appointment for 3 different lengths of time. Oh, by the way, we stagger book these 2 columns. We double book only this one. And we've got 3 doctors that jump around between the 3 offices that we have at different days of the week, right? All of that stuff can be included in the rules behind all the bookings. So you can make it as customizable or as broad and not specific as you want.
All right, that's pretty cool. So if it's that customizable, and again, you said you kind of know, who your holy grail person is that knows all the rules. Is it more like a one-on-one conversation around those pieces? Do you expect the hospital manager to set up all the rules? Do you guys kind of help the hospital manager set up the rules? Who's in charge of putting the brains in place?
I can't speak for any of the other companies doing this, but for us, we just do 100% of it for them. We call it a white glove onboarding. We'll go in and set up all the things like their scheduling rules, also all their communications, their reminders, their vaccine stuff, the reviews, we kind of do it all for them. They actually, by the way, they do have the ability to go in and make changes anytime they want. It's an open, like they can go in and make changes for whatever they want to do, but we get it set up for them. So it's, that's why I say it's only like 45 minutes on the phone, half an hour.
Okay, awesome. So you mentioned a couple of the other things that you guys do other than online booking. So tell me a little bit about what makes you guys specifically, what makes your platform different? Is it the types of other things that you offer, or is it the way that things are set up, or are you guys, is everybody in the online booking world all the same? Give me a little bit more of a broad example of what all is happening in the space.
Sure. So the first part was about us, Chikvet. So Chikvet is a 5-in-1 platform. We do practice analytics, online booking, two-way communications, reviews management, and a client portal. And there's other things that come with that. Like the portal also has like an iPhone app as an example. You could do like deposits for online booking if you wanted. There's custom forms that you can build into the workflow, like new patient intake forms and things like that. One of the things that makes us really unique is that nobody else has the practice analytics or the online booking in the way that we have them. There are other analytics that exist a lot of times in the practice management software, but they're not super user-friendly or customizable, where ours is like point and click, and it's just populates from the practice management system all in real time. The online booking, yeah, again, we've talked about a lot of different examples here, but I mean, there are a couple of other companies that have online booking, but none of them are as automated, as customizable, or as marketable and trackable as ours. Those are the two kind of features that make us unique. But the overarching thing that makes it really unique is that it's all contained under one roof. For like, if you took the top competitors for each of the individual features and line them all up in like a spreadsheet, you'd come out to somewhere between like $900 and $1,200, where ours is only like $299 a month, and everything's included in it. So, those are kind of like the two major sort of aspects to what makes us different. Otherwise, our analytics is kind of cool because it's split into two different modules. I don't want to talk too much about our platform. I don't want to make it a sales pitch, but like the whole thing is about automation, scalability, and efficiency, right? So if you have all of these pieces in place, you tie it all together, it's natively talking to one another under one roof. You're automating so much of it that it becomes very scalable. Your entire office becomes more efficient. Everybody's able to do more of the billion things going on in a vet practice on a day-to-day basis. If a practice is looking to grow, I mean, like what better way to do that than by having a scalable set of processes? Like everybody has the same online booking rules, or everybody gets the same communication cadences. You can syndicate marketing messaging through like a mass communications module within our platform. Like all that stuff is about basically making all the processes more efficient so that you're able to, again, help more pets.
Oh, no, that's the bottom line for all of us. When you're talking through the automation piece, tell me a little bit more about that. While the automation piece is going to save potentially like CSR's time, does that benefit the veterinarian or the veterinary technician at all? I'm thinking about it from the perspective of, does this only benefit the team on the front half of the hospital?
No, it really benefits everybody, because it's not just like so for instance, your communications, like your vaccine reminders, medical reminders, right? Those come with the online booking link built into it already. So the volume that you're going to be able to see helps everybody in the practice. It helps, I mean, we're all running a business. It helps your bottom line by getting more people in the door. You've got all the information, and it's all standardized that when somebody books an appointment that you 100% have everything. There's no room for human error, because it's matching it to the existing record in the system. So the vet techs, when they're seeing these people coming in, they can see all the notes. They've got everything right in front of them. They can actually look at the schedule just a kind of an offhand example, like mobile clinics. One of the things they like is being able to remotely have everybody look at the schedule and book appointments directly from within there. So, I mean, there's probably more of an immediate noticeable benefit for the CSRs, because that's the first kind of most immediate benefit that you see is the time savings, right? But it really ultimately filters through everybody else at the practice as well.
Okay. So when we're looking at it from a scalability perspective, from kind of a top-down view, I can understand how it might help, a practice with one doctor. I can understand kind of how it would help a practice with 10 doctors. But let's talk a little bit about multiple facilities, multiple sites. You kind of mentioned with mobile hospitals or with remote veterinarians, but let's talk a little bit about it from the perspective of, does it help with things like telemedicine? Does it help with things like multiple sites for the hospital at, whether it's a privately owned grouping of hospitals or whether it's more of a corporately run sort of group of hospitals?
Yeah. So obviously, there's some debate about what's better, if it's privately owned or corporate owned in the space when it comes to the groups. But it really does help every single type of practice like that for a number of ways. Obviously, all the things that we've already talked about will help every single office 100% of the time, right? But when you get to the group level, as small as two offices, there's some extra added benefits that you get by using this. Like our analytics, for instance, you can actually build out custom reporting. And even if, let's say there's a group of 5 offices and they're on 5 different practice management software, we can build one report that normalizes the data across all of them. So when you're looking at, making things scalable, efficient, automated, this gives you visibility into being able to see like where are there opportunities for improvement, or where are we really doing well? So one of the things that we'll see a lot is with group practices, they have this philosophy of like trust yet verify, right? They want to be able to allow the practices to make their own decisions and implement their own policies, but then they want to be able to double check once in a while that what they're saying is actually happening. One of the groups that we work with this was explicitly the reason they reached out, is they had a handful of different doctors across multiple locations, but like one here, one there, that was just not producing remotely as much as everybody else on the team. So being able to look at analytics and say, okay, what does the production look like per provider? Let's say month over month or quarter to date or year to date, and just looking at that data, being able to download it and present it to them. Well, lo and behold, it's been like 6 months. All those providers are now up in that same kind of acceptable range now, so to speak.
Tell me a little bit more about that. So when you say you're able to download the reports, is that solely limited to online booking, or are you describing kind of the online reporting as being more broad, specifically with your organization and the types of work that you guys are doing?
Yeah, so the online booking is a really important thing to report on. That's not even what I was referring to, though. The online booking reporting is you want to know things like where am I getting my appointments from? Are we getting some, like, is it all from the website? Do we get any from Google, Facebook, Instagram? If you're A/B testing different ads, like another thing that tends to happen more at larger groups, you can see what the conversion is on all of them and actually track your ROI by looking at the production that comes out of them, right? You also want to be able to track reminder compliance by having those booking links. We can track click rates and book rates and all that type of stuff. But kind of the answer to the question originally was like, the types of reporting that we can pull in is not just the online booking. I'm talking about full custom enterprise reporting, looking at things like revenue, accounts receivable, invoices and how many are unpaid, your appointment numbers by operatory, by provider, over time, your fill rate, your show rate, your unique client and patient numbers, and like how many clients and patients are new versus returning, right? Like all of those type of things give you a level of visibility into how the business of the practice is running better than just about anything else will. And it allows you to make better decisions, particularly for at the group level, to see like if you're trying to benchmark them one versus the other. Does that make sense?
Yep, totally. Yeah. No, and that's super helpful. So I'm going to ask the question. I mean, who do you guys play with? Do you have a favorite PIM system? Do you guys play well with other types of systems, one better than the other? Are you like me and you download everything into a PDF and go at it with a typewriter? Like, what are we talking about here?
So we integrate, we work with the top 8 practice management systems. Our functionality is identical across all of them. So you were asking earlier about what the different players in the game. There are some that only work with one or the other or have different capability with one versus the other. Ours is identical across the board. We play with Avamark, Cornerstone, Shepherd, EasyVet, Pulse, Impromed, ProVet Cloud, and Rhapsody. And our functionality is identical across the board. As far as other systems that, like if somebody, for instance, has like Shepherd has built-in communications, right? Maybe they want to use Shepherd's built-in communications, but like our online booking customizability a little bit better. So they can use our online booking, but stick with Shepherd's communications as an example. Maybe they have another software, like another third party that does some of these things, and their client base really loves that. They're really bought into it, and they don't want to make any change. They can still do that too. If they're using like part of our system, part of another one, nothing is going to interfere with one another because we have that direct connection where we're reading and writing in real time. So what we're doing is basically mimicking what a person at the front desk would do. Does that make sense?
Totally. From an efficiency perspective, we've got lots of different generations of clients and pet parents. Some want things like text reminders. Some want, say, for instance, digitized phone calls or email. Are you guys able to customize your communication, both intake as well as output with clients and with pet parents, or is it kind of a one fits all?
It's 100% customizable. I will say that we don't do phones at all, but we work really nicely with any phone system, all the ones you've heard of. But our communications is 100% customizable based on any criteria that you want. So if you wanted like different a different confirmation text to go out to like a new client versus a returning client, maybe the new client, you always have fill out this new client form, intake form, as part of the online booking process. And because of that, you have a different text that goes out based on that versus somebody who's coming in for a different type of an appointment. I'll give you a real life example. I thought this one was super cool. About 2 months ago, we had a doctor that's been using us for a while, and she got a better version of a cat medication than she had been prescribing for the last like several years, right? So she built out a custom mass communication. It was a text and email and a push notification in the app all together, and it went out to everybody who is a current client that owns a cat that's been prescribed this medication in the past, that hasn't been seen in over 6 months, and the cat is still alive, obviously, but was able to send out a mass text and email and push notification with the online booking link built in, and the conversion was like ridiculous on that.
That's amazing. Obviously, there's so many new therapeutics coming out, and when you have doctors that are joining practices or leaving practices, I could see how potentially having some automated communication about new therapeutics, or hey, come in and meet, Dr. Smith. Something along those lines could be beneficial as well.
Right, exactly. And it's anything that's like that, whether it's promotional or informational, or like I'm in Chicago. So like, hey, snow day, sorry, we're closed today, like last minute. So it's anything that's like that. You want to be able to build out, communications, mass text. And one other really cool thing that I would recommend looking for if you're looking into something like this is the ability to delineate a marketing type communication versus a standard of care communication, so that your clients can opt out of the marketing if they want to comply with spam laws, but they can still get their reminders.
Okay, that's kind of cool. So when you, obviously I'm in North Carolina, so if anybody, thinks that it might one day snow, you're closed for probably more than one day. Obviously in Chicago, you would have a different requirement for your snow regulations and for closing down. So I can see how automation there might be really beneficial too.
Well, and the ability to do it like from anywhere too, like, having a cloud-based system that you can set those things out. Like, let's say you're snowed in. Well, you can do that from home. You know what I mean? You want to be able to have the access to be able to do that on the fly, so that, whether it's the doctor, or, maybe doctor had a family emergency. So now it's the office manager, whoever, who has to put out a note like, hey, doctor's not going to be in today. We'll reschedule you as soon as we can, something like that, But again, it's all about, it's all that efficiency, scalability, automation.
Okay. Well, as a relief doctor who sometimes gets called in when somebody's out sick, I'm going to prod that one just a little bit more, because obviously in veterinary medicine, all of our team members, our CSRs, our hospital managers, our veterinary technicians, and our veterinarians, sometimes we need a physical health day, sometimes we need a mental health day, and something needs to kind of change on the fly. So when you're talking about things like being able to push notify, okay, we're going to need to reschedule that, could you potentially do a push notification with a rebook your appointment now kind of link or something along those lines? So that rather than say, hey, I need you to call in now to reschedule your appointment, can you do a double whammy basically and say, okay, this won't happen today, but go ahead and rebook right now?
See, now we're talking. This is what I'm looking for. This is that automation. Yes, that's absolutely possible, and it's a fantastic idea.
Excellent. We can talk about that offline. So really quick, Joe, obviously we've been chatting. I've been so grateful for your time. I'm learning more even as we're having this conversation, but for someone else, that's listening to this podcast, how could they learn a little bit more about online booking in general, or how could they reach out to you?
Online booking, just look it up, Google the stats on it, how easy it can be. Obviously, we're happy to, if somebody's interested in talking to us here at Chikvet, happy to do a demo. Our demo takes 8 minutes. I'll also be at VMX 2025. I'll be at VHMA next month, February 2025, and then WVC in March 2025 as well. So If anybody wants to reach out to me, go to our website. It's chikvet.com. There's no E in the check part, so it's CHCKVET.com. You can book a demo with us. You can reach out to me directly. But I mean, I'm happy to share, stats, information, run you through a quick demo, or just have a conversation.
Excellent. I'm assuming people can find you on LinkedIn and the various socials if about any of these upcoming events as well. Is that correct?
Yeah, absolutely. It's all, my name's Joe Chikarollo. So like the handle is Joe Chick on most of them, all one word, except Instagram. It's Chicago Rockstar.
I love it. I love it. Do you play? Are you a rock star, or is it more along the lines that you're so awesome that it's Chicago Rockstar?
I'm gonna leave you to decide that, but I'm gonna say I don't play any instruments.
Okay. I like it. Well, Joe, thank you so much for your time. It's always so much fun chatting with you. I'm really glad I got a chance to introduce you to all of our listeners today, especially talking about automation, scalability, and efficiency in the veterinary practice. Again, I really appreciate your time. I also want to take a minute to thank all of our listeners for their time. We appreciate each and every one of you. We cannot do what we do without you. If you like our podcast, kindly share it with your colleagues and friends on social media. Also, please don't forget to leave us a review on your favorite podcast platform. Your reviews will help other doctors, practice owners, veterinary technicians, and CSRs find us. Until next time, thanks so much again, Joe. Keep striving for excellence in the work that you're doing.
Thank you, Amanda. I appreciate you taking the time to interview me.
Absolutely. And for all of our listeners, definitely continue having a positive impact in the lives of your patients, as well as your pet parents and clients. I wish you, Joe, as well as all of our listeners, an amazing week ahead.
Same to you. Thank you.